Part 101. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 1005. Kinjian and others have been away from the tribe for more than half a month, and they are getting further and further away from the tribe. But fortunately, the number of soldiers is still so large, and there is no tactical loss. It was as if the heavy rain had no impact on them at all. Their only purpose was to quickly find the ore the witch needed. So each of them works hard and doesn't want anything to happen to them. Of course, this is all thanks to Kinjian's command and the witch dominoes Subai gave them. Since they split into two groups last time, the efficiency of finding ore has indeed improved a lot. Although no useful ore has been found so far, they have eliminated most of the places. Although the place was getting further and further away, they began to feel more and more hopeful. This is what Subai taught them, in order to prevent them from giving up easily. As long as you have hope in your heart, you will definitely find what you want. If you are desperate from the beginning, then what is the point of searching? Kinjian led Aoki and Akatsuka towards the depths of the forest, and the three of them were immediately alert. Because the deeper you go into the forest, the greater the danger, and the more brutal the beasts that appear will be. Moreover, the levels of the ferocious beasts will also get higher and higher. If some higher level ferocious beasts appear, I am afraid that there is nothing they can do about it. Therefore, they must remain vigilant at all times. It is safer to evacuate immediately when they detect any abnormal movement. You must be careful. The more you go inside, the more cautious you must be. Kinjian can be said to have taken 1 step and 3 steps back. He is really worried that a ferocious beast will suddenly appear. By then, he will not be able to take care of himself, let alone protect his men. We know that we will be very careful. King Mu and the two nodded. Although they said so, they were already extremely nervous in their hearts, because this was the first time they had gone deep into the forest. You know, the deeper the primitive forest gets, the worse it gets. Dangerous. Not only the ferocious beasts are becoming more and more cruel, but also the plants are dangerous. There are many plants that are mobile, and they will be swallowed directly if you are not careful. It can be said that the primeval forest is a living trap. If you don't pay attention, you will die sooner or later. There must be no ore in such dense trees. We need to find some cliffs or places with fewer trees. Kinjian repeated what Subai taught them again. This is also their secret to finding ore. Big boss, look, are there less of them there? I can see some stones even when I look over there. Kitu pointed to his left hand excitedly. The trees there did indeed look sparse. Kinjian was convinced that he didn't want to delay too much, so he took the soldiers and ran over there. In a few minutes I ran to a place where there were not many trees and found a very large slope. This slope looked endless, and there were some rocks everywhere. It is said that it is a forest, but in fact it can be said that this is a pile of rocks. But there are a few trees still alive. It seems like this is it. Let's look for any ore that witches need. Kinjian was very excited. He immediately took out a piece of ore from his messenger bag, which Subai gave them before setting off. That is, some iron ore, copper ore, or more useful ore, in order to let they search based on these ores. If you describe it to them for a long time, they may understand it, but when they actually search, they may not be able to find the same ore. So just give them an ore of the same type and let them compare according to the ore. Searching is easy to find. Aoki and Akatsuki also picked up the ore and started comparing and searching, regardless of the rain falling from the sky. They felt that this had no impact on them at all, only the pile of ore in front of them is the most important thing. Half an hour later, they compared many of the same stones one after another. Everyone's face was filled with excited smiles, as excited as those gold diggers. The more they searched, the happier they were. The more I look for it, the more excited I become. Big boss, we seem to have really found the ore that Wu needs. There are so many here that we can't even finish them all. Aoki laughed until he couldn't even open his eyes. This much ore should be enough, and the wizard will definitely praise us. Kitu also smiled like a fool. He didn't care that his face was covered with dirt and his body was covered with dirt. The ores in his arms were as if he were holding a treasure. It's great that everything the witch wants can be found here. Let's go back and tell the others the news, and then we can prepare to return to the tribe. Kinjian also held a lot of ore, and people in their 30s also smiled like children. Good. Kitu also responded with a smile. Finally, it didn't take so long. Aoki nodded. The three of them reluctantly put down a lot of ore, and each of them took only some and left. Because they had to rush back to the tribe, and in addition, they had to guard against those ferocious beasts, so it was impossible to carry them with them. Bring a lot of ores. Tap tap tap. Following bursts of hurried footsteps, Kinjian and Aoki Kitu ran towards the cave. But after running for a while, Kinjian noticed something different. He could sense danger even if it was rain falling and noisy falling on trees and rocks. Aoki and Akatsuki are not the same, and they can also feel the difference between Aoki and the surrounding environment. Be careful, danger is approaching. Kinjian immediately became serious. It can be said that a moment of intuition told him that the danger was slowly approaching. Ho ho ho. A deep roar sounded, and among the layers of rain and fog, the soldiers could see a pair of glowing red eyes. There was also a looming shadow, which looked very big as a small truck. The roaring sound of the ferocious beast was in sharp contrast to the sound of falling rain. The roaring sound can be said to be very shocking. Visible to the naked eye, the falling rain trembled, and the leaves of the surrounding trees also trembled uncontrollably. Of course, it's not that the rain and leaves are afraid, but the roar is very loud, and the sound waves are so loud that they can make the rain and leaves tremble. Aoki Akito's pores seemed to have been opened from head to toe, and goosebumps could not stop appearing on their bodies. Even soldiers can feel fear. You can imagine what kind of existence the ferocious beast in the rain and fog is like. Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 1006. Let alone Aoki Kitu, even Kinjian felt a little scared. It was really that ferocious beast in the rain and fog, and the oppressive feeling it exuded was too strong. For a moment, the soldiers did not dare to take a deep breath, and they all stood still and did not dare to move rashly. No one knows whether the next step will anger the ferocious beast. Everyone seems to be frozen now. After I say 3 numbers, you run away immediately and leave me alone. Kinjian's face turned extremely dark. He knew that this time it would not go so well, and the probability of being knocked down this time was very high. But Kinjian still remembered Tsubai's advice in his heart, that is, he must protect the soldiers. Safety. What's more, he is now the leader of this team, and he must ensure that the soldiers evacuate safely. Big boss, you go first, Kitu and I can handle it, King Mu said in a low voice. They didn't dare to speak loudly, so they could only speak softly through the noise of the rain. King Mu said this, but his body was still shaking honestly, and he was really scared. Extremely. You must survive safely. Your death is a loss to the tribe. We can definitely escape, Kitu also said immediately. He was also very scared. The water drops on his forehead and back could not be distinguished from rain or cold sweat. What nonsense are you talking about? Are you disobeying my orders now? Kinjian said very seriously. He knew that the other party definitely wanted him to escape, but he couldn't do such a thing. Big boss, there is no reason for us soldiers to abandon our comrades. Aoki has no intention of leaving. Even if we die, we must die together. This is the purpose of the Yanlong tribe, Kitu said impassionedly. If we all die here, who will bring the news to the witch? Don't forget what we spent so much time doing. You must know that the witch is still waiting for us in the tribe. Kinjian doesn't want these two children to die in vain here, and is already thinking in his heart about how to prolong the time longer. Big boss, but... Aoki and Akatsuki were interrupted before they finished speaking, and Aoki also exuded an irresistible aura. The two soldiers did not dare to say anything, but their eyes were red, and they tightly clutched their crossbody animal skin bags. Ho ho ho! The ferocious beast in the rain and fog seemed to sense that the other party was about to leave, and began to let out a series of low roars. Coming Kinjian pushed Aoki Katu and ran in the direction of the ferocious beast. This is entirely a matter of personal courage, because people's instinct is to be afraid and they will definitely run away. It is impossible to run in the direction of the ferocious beast. Run! Aoki Katu didn't want to hold back, even though he was very reluctant. He turned around and started to run away. Kinjian looked back and saw the two running away and smiled happily, then turned his head and faced the ferocious beast seriously. The biggest in the rain and fog, the ferocious beast slowly began to reveal its figure. It looked very much like Biao on the other side of the earth, and was very large. However, its color was lavender, and its teeth were longer than Biao's, a bit like a long-tusked tiger. The feeling. The second is the tail. There are two long tails in total, and there are rows of barbs on the tails. If you are swept by this tail, you will probably be paralyzed even if you don't die. Ho ho ho! The ferocious beast jumped in front of Kinjian and let out a low roar again. Because it was so close, the feeling of oppression was even stronger. The legacy of the ferocious beast, Kinjian was stunned. At first, he guessed that it was a purebred ferocious beast, probably the kind of ferocious beast that was in the breakthrough stage. But he didn't expect it to be a relic ferocious beast, and it was so big and so lethal. It's very impressive. Those huge claws don't just pierce the intestines and stomach when they come down. It's not a problem to cut them off at the waist. How will a ferocious beast that I have never seen attack? Kinjian was thinking in his mind. Even though he couldn't stop trembling now, he still had to calm down and analyze his opponent. The more you can do this, the less you can be anxious. If you are anxious, flaws will appear and you will die faster. That's it. The ferocious beast would not give the opponent time to think. After roaring a few times, it started to rush towards Kinjian. The speed was very, very fast, which was beyond the reach of ordinary beasts and purebred ferocious beasts. Kinjian seemed to be predicting when he reached the other party, he rolled towards the other side. Although he was very embarrassed, he managed to escape safely. Being able to walk by like this was already very impressive. His cool movements were not considered. Kinjian immediately he stood up and quickly adjusted his posture, ignoring the soft soil on his body and the dirt on his face. He immediately stared closely at the beast's next move, and this was the most important thing. Because it was very possible the moment you wipe the dirt off your face subconsciously, the beast is already ready to bite you on the neck. Ho ho ho! Sure enough, the ferocious beast that had pounced in the air for the first time had become angry and roared, adjusting its posture and pounced again. Kinjian once again jumped away to the other side, but unfortunately, his entire right arm was swept by the tail of the ferocious beast. But Kinjian had already anticipated the possible injury, and activated his totem power a second before jumping away. Because the power of the totem is activated, the skin on the body will be slightly harder, which can withstand the sweep of the vicious beast. But it was just a resistance. The skin and flesh immediately burst open, and there were also fractures. If Blue Eyes did not activate the power of the totem when the ferocious beast swept over, the entire arm would be useless. Ah! Several waves of severe pain hit him instantly, and Kinjian's face turned pale instantly. He had seen the brutality of the relic beast and its powerful lethality. Kinjian ignored the pain and immediately took it out of the bag. The witch dominoes were instantly used on his arms. When he was using the witch dominoes, he kept moving aside, trying to keep himself in an active state. If he stood still, he would only become a target for ferocious beasts, and even more so. What's more, it's such a lethal beast. I'm sure if I take one more blow from it, I won't be able to stand up. Kinjian gritted his teeth and said. He began to look for opportunities to fight back. After using the witch dominoes, his physical strength was also improved. Not only was his physical strength greatly improved, but his speed and eyesight also improved instantly. Feel different? Ho ho ho. Seeing that the wound on Kinjian's arm healed immediately, the ferocious beast became even more angry. Please update for support and customization. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 1007. What Subai got after signing in today was loquats, a box of loquats that looked as big as a fist. The golden color looked very sweet, so he immediately took it out to the living room to share it with the girls. Except for Subai, it was the first time for everyone else to taste the taste of loquat. After everyone tried it, their eyes were very wide open and they couldn't put it down for this fresh fruit. After learning the name of this fruit, Yanhua and others also wanted to try to write the word loquat. However, these two characters are not simple. There are many strokes. It took everyone a long time to learn them, but the writing is just crooked. Subai didn't want to waste the loquat seeds. After eating, he used the plant growth technique on the seeds. After all, such a good fruit has to be kept, of course, not because of its effect in relieving coughs and promoting salivation. In fact, loquat does not have the effect of relieving coughs and promoting fluid production, only its leaves. However, loquat leaves are poisonous and must undergo special treatment to achieve the kind of loquat cough syrup on the market. Wow, it's really annoying when it rains. I feel like I can't even dry my clothes, Yu Ying said suddenly. Because of the rainy season, there is almost no sunshine, so almost all the clothes we wash are dried naturally. If there is no wind, the clothes will not dry. Even if they are left for several days, they will dry. There will also be a strange smell afterwards. Because when it rains, the clothes are hung close to each other and there is no ventilation at all. Such clothes will easily become moldy and rotten, which will produce a very unpleasant smell. This it is a phenomenon that often occurs on rainy days. In modern times, it usually occurs in Huainan Tian. No matter how thoroughly your clothes are dried, the smell will never go away. Even if you wash it again, if the smell is strong there is still no way to clean it, it will make you wash it back and forth many times. This is a phenomenon that often occurs on rainy days. After you wash your clothes, you can put them on a fire to bake, so that the clothes will not have that unpleasant smell and will be more comfortable to wear. Of course Subai knows the smell. He experienced this unpleasant smell last year during the tribal rainy season. I know, I will set up a fire pit on the balcony to make the people below pay a little attention. Yu Ying nodded repeatedly, planning to tell the maids after a while, so that they should be careful not to burn their clothes. Because the fox-eared girl usually has other work to do, it is definitely impossible to guard her clothes under the fire every day. Yes. And it definitely takes a long time to bake clothes over charcoal fire, and people can't stay away for too long, so this job can only be done by the maids. You should hand over more work to others recently, and don't take it all on yourself, Subai said gently. He saw everything. Fox-ear girl is the kind of person who loves to be very busy. Especially regarding Subai, little fox-ear girl is eager to do everything on her. The kind that no one can get close to. I know, I have been training new people recently, and they are getting started faster and faster. I'm afraid I will be able to retire soon. When Yu Ying said this, there was still a bit of resentment in it, and her pink eyes were still flashing. As for the word retirement, of course she heard it from Subai's mouth. She thought it was very interesting and kept remembering it. Now, so far, Fox-eared lady has memorized a lot of modern vocabulary. Not to mention, she finds this very useful. Train them more, and then let them go out to work. After the rainy season stops, more and more people from other tribes will come to our tribe. Sudbai picked up a cup of warm tea at that time. Many stores will need some service personnel, and they can come in handy. Yes, he has been thinking about opening some new stores recently in order to make the Yanlong tribe's stores more diverse. Does Wu mean to open a store? Yu Ying asked curiously. Yes, Wu, why haven't I heard you talk about this before? Shalan quickly searched his memory and found that there was no memory about this aspect. Oh, it's something I've been thinking about privately, but it hasn't been implemented yet, so I haven't mentioned it to you, Sudbai explained. I see. I wonder what kind of store Wu is going to open, Yu Ying asked curiously. Don't you think our current food stores, which only include barbecue restaurants and ramen shops, are too few? What I want is to expand more food stores, Sudbai explained. If a tribe is to develop towards a modern city, the diversity of food must be ensured. You can't say that there are only two kinds of food in a modern city, right? This is not much different from the primitive tribe. I understand. Wu wants to promote what we eat every day and turn it into a store, right? Shalan guessed. Cat-eared lady likes her days in Yong'an building very much, because the food she eats every day is very good. This is almost the meaning, but not all of them are rolled out, just a few are rolled out first to see the effect, Sudbai explained. Wu Kei can tell me now, I can remember it immediately, and then I will have people do these things immediately, and try to coordinate them before the end of the rainy season. Shalan stood up straight in an instant, and his expression became extremely serious. This was completely different from the moment when he was fighting for loquats to eat. Although Yanhua was not in charge of this aspect, he still followed him. I stood up straight. I felt that it was better not to play games at this time. I had to listen carefully to what the witch said. I want to make a juice shop, where all the products displayed are squeezed from the fruits we grow. You must know that our fruit production is very high now, and we are not worried about the shortage of fruits. Sudbai took a sip of tea. It will rot if left alone for a long time. Why not use it for business? What do you think? The Yanlong tribe now has 3 modern fruits, oranges, bananas, and coconuts. The rest are wild fruits brought back from the forest. Of course, those wild fruits are also carefully selected, and it was Sudbai who successfully converted them through the conversion technique, which neutralizes their original sour taste. Thanks to the blessing of plant growth, these fruit trees grow very fast, and some fruits only bear fruit once a year. But after the plant growth surgery, it can be said that the fruits will bear fruit once every month, and the output is very large. The people in Yong'an building and the chiefs alone, as well as the people at the bottom as food, cannot digest so much. Everyone. In the end, I still choose more meat. Fruits and other things are additional. It doesn't matter if you don't have them. Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 1008. I think it should be possible. There are a lot of goods stored in the cellar now. Shalan even went to count the numbers 2 days ago anyway. It is a good thing to attract more people to our tribe. It will be very helpful for the development of our tribe. Yes, those fruits are things they have never seen before, and those preserved fruits will also make them very greedy, Sudbai said softly. Fresh fruits naturally have a fresh taste, and preserved fruits also have a different flavor. Woo, but I have one worry. After they buy the fruits and go back, what should they do if they take out the seeds and plant them? Yu Ying picked up the orange on the table and peeled it open to reveal the seeds inside. There were 5 or 6 seeds. Yes, if they take the seeds back, they will definitely plant them, and then we will not have the advantage of fruits. Shalan said quickly. Either we don't take out the fruit and replace it, or we remove the seeds and then take it out and replace it. Yanhua blinked her red eyes. Silly girls, there is no way to guard against them all the time. Even if they take them out, it doesn't matter. We have other things that can give us an advantage. Subai smiled lightly. He must have thought about this issue at first. Because some soils in this era are very different. For example, before they moved here before, the soil there for growing crops was different. It grows very quickly. And some soil is not much different from ordinary soil. Things like fruits will be exposed sooner or later, and there is nothing you can do about it. There is definitely no way to remove the seeds. You see, just like this orange, if the seeds are removed, there will be no outer skin and it will look very messy. Yu Ying said while showing Niojiao Niang a demonstration. Looking at the mess, she lost her appetite. Well, I just hope their soil is not very good, so that we can better control the fruits. Yanhua can only hope this way. However, we still try our best to promote preserved fruits, tangerine peel, and the like. As for fresh fruits, we can just raise their prices from the beginning. Subai turned his black eyes and thought, the price of fresh fruits must be higher. Woo, or instead of taking out the fruits and replacing them, we can directly take out the fruits and squeeze the juice. How about opening a fruit juice shop? Yu Ying suggested as she shook her pink foxtail. This was the inspiration she usually got from making juice. Yes, this is a good idea, because we are worried about the fruit spoiling, so we can just squeeze the juice directly. Shalan also thinks the suggestion is very good. Just follow this advice and it will take a while. Subai nodded. Woo, what should we do with our vegetables? There are also a lot of vegetables in the cellar. Apart from the tribesmen coming to exchange them, there are still a lot left. Shat. Lan thought of the farmland outside the tribe. When the rainy season ends, we can get a large amount of vegetables again. Because of the blessing of the plant growth technique, vegetables can be grown and harvested very quickly. Although the tribesmen continue to exchange labor value for it, there will always be a lot left. In addition to making sauerkraut and dried plum vegetables, we can open a restaurant and make vegetables into dishes for people to exchange. Subai said. Now only Yong'anlu, the chief and some big bosses are making vegetables into dishes. For example, stir-fried vegetables, garlic vegetables, fried meat with vegetables, etc. Others cannot enjoy this kind of delicacy. Yes, vegetables are delicacies to tribal people. It is really a luxury for them who have been eating meat for a long time to have a bite of vegetables. After all, vegetables are not so greasy, and eating more vegetables will be good for the body. I understand, the person who asked me to train will be able to become a chef when the time comes, right? Yu Ying asked. Naturally, she heard the word chef from Subai's mouth. At that time, she thought this profession was very interesting. She also learned these two words for this purpose, but there were a lot of strokes and it was a bit laborious to write. This is almost the same meaning, and wheat and rice can also be used together, Subai said. He planned many stores at once in order to make the food court look more colorful. You can't say that there are only 1 or 2 stores in a food court, right? This looks ridiculous. Woo, can I teach them the snacks I usually make? In this way, we might be able to open more stores, Yu Ying asked. Of course, such as baked sweet potato chips, roasted sweet potatoes, cakes, tea eggs, etc., these can all be opened as a store. Subai nodded immediately. Aren't these things necessary for the snack street? It would be good to open more. I understand, I will discuss this with Alan. Yu Ying nodded excitedly. Just watch and discuss it? If you don't understand anything, just ask me, Subai said lightly. The rainy season will end in more than 20 days, so we have to hurry up. Shalan instantly felt a sense of responsibility. By the way, Alan, how is the output of other workshops? Have you stocked up in advance? Subai asked. He was asking about the paper-making workshop, linen workshop, furniture workshop, etc., because as soon as the rainy season is over, there will definitely be many people from the tribe coming to prepare for the upcoming big ice and snow. Prepare. Except for the porcelain workshops whose production is limited due to the rainy season, the production of other tribes is normal and they all stockpile a large amount of goods. Even if many people from other tribes come after the rainy season, we don't have to worry at all. Shalan also went to check it out yesterday. Everyone's work progress is still in an orderly manner, even faster and faster. After all, everyone is becoming more and more skilled. Just wait, maybe someone will come in the next few days, and you can give these goods to them. Then the corners of Sudbai's mouth raised slightly. How does the witch know? Do you use witchcraft to divine fortune? Shalan asked curiously. No, it's just my guess. Just wait, it will definitely come. Sudbai is still very confident. It's okay if everyone hasn't seen the Yanlong tribe's goods. Since he has seen, many tribes have seen their goods. Sudbai doesn't believe that everyone can still remain calm, even in the rainy season. There will also be people coming because they urgently need the Yanlong tribe. Wu, do they come to our tribe to exchange goods? That shouldn't be the case. Shalan feels that things are not that simple. Many tribes have already stored their goods before the rainy season. It is impossible for them to come out during such a dangerous period of rainy season. You will know when the time comes, just keep an eye on it first, Sudbai said mysteriously. Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 1009. The raindrops in the sky are like broken beads, falling from the endless sky. It seems that there is no intention to stop at all, and the whole sky will look gray. It can be said that the rainy season makes people feel lifeless, but has a very humid feeling. Gumu felt sore in her back today and had been rubbing her knees, shoulders, and waist. The expression on his face looked very painful, as if he was suffering from a serious illness. Is Grandpa Gumu okay? Do you want me to help you with something? The apprentice asked anxiously. Gumu, who was teaching the apprentices how to make furniture, suddenly felt uncomfortable all over. No, he was lying on a chair to rest now, with a cup of hot water poured by the apprentices in his hand. Gumu looked very tired, even if the apprentices had been helping him relax his shoulders and knees. It's okay, I'll just take a rest. Gumu raised his hand and shook it. He pressed his chin, signaling to the apprentices to continue making furniture and not worry about him. Because this is an old problem every year, and Gumu himself is used to it. It's just that every time it gets worse every year. Now the pain all over my body is worse than last year. Grandpa Gumu, we can't do this. It will be too much if we continue like this. Why don't we go back to the room to rest first? We can do it here ourselves, an apprentice asked very anxiously. Even if I go back to rest, I will be very tired. I think it is better to go to the witch directly, so that I may be able to get a direct solution, another apprentice said. The apprentices all know that Sudbai has learned a lot of witchcraft, including the witchcraft about healing. You're right, let's go directly to Yong'an building, an older apprentice said repeatedly. I just need to rest for this little thing, and don't bother Wu with anything. Gumu's voice became serious. He didn't want to go to Yong'an building just because of this. He also knew that there were a lot of things happening there every day. He must not disturb Wu's work progress because of his physical condition. Grandpa Gumu, this won't work. We have to go to Yong'an Tower. It doesn't matter even if we are punished by the chief, the oldest apprentice said immediately. He couldn't bear to see someone who had been teaching him life skills uncomfortable, not to mention not once or twice. That's right, even if we are punished, it's okay for us to be punished together, the apprentices responded one after another. And they felt that this was not necessarily a trivial matter. Gumu was the most experienced carpenter in the entire tribe, and he could do many things if left to him. This was a very big contribution to the tribe. Gumu was very important to Yanlong. He is also a very important person to the tribe. Everyone in the tribe knows this, so everyone respects him very much. Some people who have a surplus of grain will kindly give him some grain. Apprentice, they felt that such a prestigious person was sick, so he would not be punished if he disturbed the witch. Gumu was touched by the kindness of the apprentices, and since he was indeed feeling very uncomfortable, he did not refuse. Let the apprentices take out the stretcher, and everyone helped Gumu to lie down. Then the apprentices put a large piece of animal skin on the entire stretcher to protect it from the rain outside. Half an hour later, the apprentices brought Gumu to Yong'an building, and encountered Yan Jiao during the process. The latter of course agreed after hearing this, and followed him to Yong'an building. Subai was naturally very welcoming to Gumu, and the maids also took the initiative to make hot tea. Wu, I really didn't mean to disturb your work, I just felt uncomfortable and wanted to show Wu, Gumu said a little weakly. His legs and hands were shaking uncontrollably, and he looked really uncomfortable. Needless to say, you feel uncomfortable. Just come to me. Where do you feel uncomfortable? Subai said seriously. He respected Gumu from the bottom of his heart, because he was so old and very capable. In addition, he had already helped him a lot. If it weren't for him, many things would have been lost. Will not be invented. I feel that my knees, neck, and hands are sore everywhere, and it's the kind of soreness that comes in waves. Gumu pointed back and forth on his body. How long have you been feeling this uncomfortable? Subai began to make a guess in his heart. Because seeing the other person's age and the part he pointed at, he could probably guess that it was similar to some current disease. It seems to have started when I was in my 40s or 50s, and it gets worse every year, Gumu said. Is it like this every rainy season? Subai asked again. Yes, every time the rainy season starts, I feel uncomfortable all over, Gumu nodded repeatedly. Wu, I sometimes get it, and some other people in the tribe also get it. I wonder what kind of disease it is? Yan Jiao asked again and again. He must have felt the same way, because he often suffers from pain in those parts, and it happens every year during the rainy season. If my guess is correct, this is rheumatism, which will occur when it rains, that is, when the air is humid, Subai explained simply. Rheumatism, everyone was wondering in unison. Rheumatism is a group of diseases that mainly invade joints, bones, muscles, blood vessels and related soft tissues or connective tissues. Subai's expression was very serious. The onset of rheumatism is relatively hidden and slow, the course of the disease is long, and most of them have genetic tendencies. Moreover, they have been exposed to cold and water vapor for a long time, so the probability of getting this disease will be greatly increased. I probably understand, because our rainy season lasts for a long time, making the surrounding environment very humid, and we are not very dry every day. Yan Jiao suddenly understood. In addition, the heavy ice and snow lasted for a long time. This is consistent with what Wu said about being attacked by cold. This is the reason why most of us are sick, right? It can be said that almost all the elderly people in the tribe now have this disease, and almost all the middle-aged people also have it, but the onset time is longer and slower. Subai was very serious for a moment, because this is not a trivial matter. Rheumatism can be big or small. At the beginning, there was a slight feeling of soreness and swelling. This discomfort will disappear in a few days. But over time, the symptoms of rheumatism will become more and more serious, and people will become more and more uncomfortable. When it is serious enough, it will also affect walking, activities, etc. It is a very tormenting disease. Please update for support and customization. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 1010. Wu, can this disease be cured? Yan Jiao was a little scared after hearing the explanation. What soldiers are most afraid of is some continuous pain, afraid that it will slowly consume the body. If it is the kind of sudden trauma, it is okay to say that it can be healed slowly. The wound is well taken care of. But if it is the kind of illness that continues to consume your body and slowly hollows out your body, this is undoubtedly the mortal enemy of the soldiers. Curing it is not a problem, but it may take a long time to completely cure it, and it involves a lot of people. Sudbai frowned. Looking at the entire tribe, everyone is likely to suffer from rheumatism. Don't think that you can be lucky because you are young. Diseases will never come to you just because you are young. Rheumatism has always been caused by the environment. It rained and snowed most of the time throughout the primitive era. If you can't live in such an environment without rheumatism, who will? What's more, their lives before were not as good as they are now, with running water and the like. It is even more common. In such a situation, the probability of rheumatism is 100%, even if you are a child, you are not immune. Which, I will cure the rheumatism of the soldiers at any price, and the rheumatism of other people must also be taken seriously. Yan Jiao knows that warriors are the foundation of the tribe. If this is said, the probability of rheumatism among warriors is also very high. The soldiers' rheumatism condition is not bad. After all, they train every day and eat better than ordinary people. Sudbai remembered that the soldiers had to work hard and sweat every day, and even had to eat the meat and blood of some ferocious beasts. This could also help them survive the bleeding, and rheumatism and other diseases would most likely not come to them. Only some older soldiers will contract rheumatism when their physical fitness cannot keep up. Since the soldiers are fine, I feel relieved. I thought the soldiers would also get rheumatism. Yan Jiao breathed a sigh of relief instantly. He immediately pushed Gumyu up. After all, the other party seemed to be in too much pain. Wu, if it's very troublesome, forget it, my old bones can still hold on, no worse than the soldiers. Gumyu is still holding on. In fact, he feels that his whole body is sore, even if he doesn't do anything, he is sore, not to mention that he has to do some crafts such as wood every day. The way to treat you is very simple, but I am just afraid that it will relapse in the future. Sudbai stopped talking and directly stretched out his palm to use the healing technique. The light green light instantly enveloped Gumyu's body. After a few minutes, as the green light dissipated, Gumyu looked better overall. He surprised, I stood up from the chair and began to move the joints all over my body. There is no pain at all. This feeling is amazing. Gumyu was so happy that he kept shaking his legs and waving his hands. The old man looked like a child who got candy, with wrinkles on his face. This is only temporary. If you continue to stay in an environment like the tribe, sooner or later you will continue to be infected with rheumatism. Sudbai looked a little serious. There must be no problem with the current treatment. But the healing technique is not 100% sure that you will not relapse. It can only treat your current discomfort. But if you continue to do this, in rainy or snowy conditions, even if you are cured, you will recover again. Wu, there is nothing I can do about this. There is still something going on at the workshop, and I have to rush back to supervise it. Gumyu bowed and turned around to leave. After all, he was thinking about the wood. Now that the rheumatism all over his body has been cured, he doesn't have to worry about the next thing. He doesn't understand anything anyway, so he can continue to stay. It will only delay production time. Wu, is it true that rheumatism can only be cured now, but it will relapse again, right? What should we do if this is the case? Yan Jiao also became serious. For no other reason, as a chief, he didn't want to see the tribe's people in pain. He knew that the witch's healing skills were very powerful, but it was impossible to receive those with rheumatism every day. Even if the treatment is cured now, what about in the future? This is not a long-term solution after all. You are only half right. In fact, there are ways to deal with rheumatism. We can do preventive work in the early stage, so as to reduce the probability of rheumatism. Sudbai thought of the hospital and continued to ask, how is the hospital? Why doesn't everyone go there as soon as possible when they get sick? It suddenly occurred to him that there seemed to be a lot of people recently. They came to Yong'an building when they felt uncomfortable. Of course, those people had a relatively high status in the tribe, so they didn't say anything. But if this is the case, Yan, there is no need for the Dragon Tribe Hospital to open. Because the people taking the lead have not taken the lead, how can everyone go there? There are relatively few people going there. Most of them go there for the first time. Only people around them will go after hearing the good reviews. Yan Jiao said immediately. If this doesn't work, find someone to spread the word tomorrow, saying that the hospital can treat any disease, and you can go there as long as you feel uncomfortable. Sudbai said seriously. He didn't want to have worked so hard to train so many medical staff in vain, only for the hospital to remain empty. There are also a lot of witch dominoes placed in the hospital. No matter how uncomfortable you are, you can still be cured with witch dominoes. Nowadays, there are a lot of witch dominoes for healing, not to mention that not everyone's illness must be treated with witch dominoes. For colds, fevers, headaches, etc., hospitals still have hospital methods, and all the herbal medicines that were taken before can be given. It is useful. The knowledge of training medical staff can also be used. There is no need to waste a witch domino. There is no need to come to Yong'an building to waste Sudbai's time. This is the meaning of the existence of the hospital. I understand. I will prepare people tonight and let them start doing a lot of publicity tomorrow. I will make sure that everyone will go to the hospital if they feel uncomfortable in the future. Yan Jiao suddenly became serious. But Wu, what should we do about rheumatism? He was a little confused. Wasn't what he just asked about rheumatism? Why did he suddenly jump to the hospital? Rheumatism can be prevented in advance in the hospital. You can also take medicine in the hospital first, or learn some prerequisite preparations for prevention. Sudbai took out a pen and paper and was writing. He wanted to write down all the ways to treat and prevent rheumatism. Then he would train the hospital staff and ask them to educate the tribesmen, so that they could save a lot of time. I see. Yan Jiao nodded as if he didn't understand. Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 1011. Sudbai frowned and thought about how to treat rheumatism. Healing alone is not enough, although the healing witch domino can heal it immediately. But you can't always wait until the onset of illness to treat it, as this is not good for your health. Because the body was injured in the early stage, and this kind of discomfort is continuous. In addition, the food everyone eats may not be particularly good. Although the food we eat now is better than before, it is still not modern life. Rheumatism can be eliminated by some dietary therapy. It is even possible that the food you eat is cold, which will further aggravate the rheumatism. First of all, the floor should be raised to prevent water vapor from rising and to prevent cold air from entering the body. Sudbai took out a pen and paper and wrote, it's definitely not practical to use stones and cement. You have to use something with better water absorption. He tried hard to recall the modern decorations on the other side of the earth, where these issues were often considered. The only thing with better water absorption is wood chips, but this is not enough. You need to add more water absorbent and breathable materials. Sudbai planned to ask the tribesmen to find these things, and then lay a layer under the floor of the cement house after the rainy season. In addition to paying attention to where you live, the next step is your diet. You should also pay special attention to your diet. Sudbai recalled whether the food eaten by the tribe now had a cooling effect, or whether the two were incompatible with each other. Cooling foods seem to contain wheat, and so do bean sprouts and winter melon. Fortunately, the only kind of wheat we eat now has cooling properties. Subai immediately wrote on the paper, as for fruit, it's oranges. Eat less of these. He didn't expect that the current staple food is actually cold, which will greatly increase the probability of people suffering from rheumatism. Subai immediately thought of a way, writing on a piece of paper, that he would reduce wheat production and focus on increasing it. The yield of rice. Fortunately, there is rice in the tribe, otherwise you will really get rheumatism if you continue to eat wheat. Yes, wheat has become one of the staple foods of every household in the Yanlong tribe, and everyone will exchange their labor value for wheat. In their eyes, wheat is better than meat, at least it makes them feel fuller. By the way, the production of peppers must also be increased. Eating more peppers can also expel the coldness from the body. It would be better if there are Sichuan peppercorns. Subai kept mumbling to himself, the system has been on for so long, why haven't you given me pepper? The spicy food is so delicious. He wants to eat Sichuan food now. The heavy oil and spicy taste is really good. After all, in the primitive era, you couldn't eat food with heavy seasonings. Sprinkling some chili powder and salt is already a luxury. And this is only the luxury of the Yanlong tribe. Other tribes do not have such good seasonings. At most, they just add a little salt. Let's open a Sichuan restaurant after the rainy season. Maybe some people are born with spicy food. Subai thought of this and immediately wrote down his thoughts, and we should encourage everyone to eat more spicy food. You don't need to eat very spicy food all at once, just learn it slowly. He was thinking that it would be a bit unrealistic to ask everyone to exercise. In terms of exercise, it all depends on the individual. Those who like it will like it very much, and those who don't will be very resistant. Although exercise can avoid those who suffer from rheumatism, but have not really got rheumatism, will not pay attention to it. So we can only work hard on the ingredients. After all, most people will accept it. What's more, everyone has eaten it before. The food they eat is not very good. Now that we can give them food with seasonings, it must be too late to chase them. Wu, what are you writing? So much has been written. Shalan asked curiously. She had just heard about rheumatism next to her, so she moved her joints and found that they were still normal. I am writing about some methods to prevent rheumatism, and you will be asked to educate them about these methods when the time comes, Subai said without raising his head. He wrote on the paper one after another about hygiene, ventilation, and more calcium supplements. As for calcium supplements, they can only be obtained from meat. And finally wrote about walking as long as possible, even a quick walk. Although this cannot prevent rheumatism 100%, it is at least exercise. Wu wrote a lot of words. It seems that preventing rheumatism is not an easy task, Shalan guessed. There is a long way to go, and the most important thing is that everyone must be obedient, otherwise it will all be in vain. Subai shrugged his shoulders. He didn't think everyone would do exactly what he said, but it would be good to get as many people to do it as possible. Don't worry, Wu, they will definitely listen to what you say. After all, this is related to your health. Shalan said immediately. If you do as I say, it will indeed be easier. Subai loosened his fingers. He began to think about the rainy season and whether there is a place where it doesn't rain. In other words, it shouldn't rain continuously like this, making it impossible to do many things. By the way, Alan, do you know where it never rains? Subai asked suddenly. He was thinking that if there really was such a place, it would be a good idea to go there and spend some time there during the rainy season. It seems to be on the other side of the river. I heard that it hardly rains there. You can ask Lozi, that's where she came from, Shalan said. She was also very curious about the other continent and didn't know what was there. I heard that the tribes there had completely different living customs from the tribes here, and she really wanted to see it. Then call her over. It would be good to learn more about the environment in other places, Subai said. She seems to be in class at this time, so I will ask someone to inform her first, and she can come directly after class. Shalan said immediately. Okay, no rush, Subai said softly. He lowered his head and continued to improve the method of preventing rheumatism. The sooner this is implemented, the better. And he still has a lot of things to do. The new talent he received before has not yet been made into witch dominoes. More than half a month has passed, and there is still no progress in this matter. It was only when I suddenly saw it was raining outside that I wondered if there was a place where it didn't rain. I also wanted to investigate the reason for the continuous rain. Although it cannot change the weather. But it is good to at least know the reason. Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 1012. Luza came to Yong'an building after class. Because she was holding an umbrella, she didn't get wet. As soon as she came in, she bowed very politely and asked, "What does the witch want from me?" "I want to know something about your other continent," Subai asked. "I asked briefly last time, but I didn't ask in detail because at that time, I didn't have much desire for another continent. But I couldn't bear it. I have to go through 3 months every year. It's the rainy season around here, which is really a bit inconvenient. Since it doesn't rain on another continent, would you consider spending it there in the rainy season next year or in the future?" The witch is talking about our Shanxiang tribe, right? The demand for water there is very large, which is completely different from ours. Luza thought of her tribe. There aren't many trees over there, so it can be said that there are completely two different looks. Is everything filled with sand? There are very few trees and water sources, right? Subai asked. After hearing it last time, he felt that the other continent was very much like a desert, and this continent was a forest. But he was not very sure at the time, because he remembered that in the primitive era, the desert did not seem to exist. In terms of natural conditions, dry climate is an important condition for the formation of large-scale deserts. In dry areas, in addition to rocks weathered into debris, there is also a large amount of silt and stones brought by dry rivers. There is a lack of when covered with plants. Once strong winds blow, a large amount of sand on the ground will be lifted up. When the wind weakens or encounters obstacles, large areas of sand and dust will accumulate to become deserts. Large areas of desert are often scattered in the dry areas or basins with relatively low terrain. Subai has some knowledge in this area. Large-scale deserts on the Earth are mainly distributed in two dry areas. One is the northwest desert area of Subai country, which is far away from the ocean. There are also mountains blocking the way, making it difficult for the moist ocean air to reach. At the same time, rainfall is particularly scarce, which contributes to the formation of deserts. The second is the Sahara Desert in a certain African region, where the air pressure is high, the weather and wind direction are relatively stable, dry winds blow all year round, and rainfall scarce, deserts gradually formed. This is not just one of the reasons. There are also human factors in the formation of deserts. Due to human deforestation, overgrazing, and blind land reclamation, as well as local wars that destroyed water conservancy facilities in arid areas, all these have accelerated the process of desertification. For a long time, due to human beings' reckless indiscriminate cultivation, deforestation, and overgrazing, the ecological balance of the sandy area has been catastrophically damaged. The harm of wind and sand has become more and more serious, forming a disaster model: overgrazing, including overcrowding and deforestation, wind erosion, desertification. After Subai's very strict analysis, he felt that there should be no such thing as a desert at this time, so he overturned the idea that another continent was a desert. But now when I hear Luza say this, I suddenly feel that another continent is very much like a desert. Woo, what is a desert? Luza doesn't know what a desert is. To put it simply, there is sand everywhere, as far as the eye can see. Subai took a sip of tea. That means you don't have the concept of soil. There is sand everywhere that will sink if you step on it. He could only think of such a simple explanation. Do you want to explain to the other party a lot about the formation of the desert? It would be a bit too old-fashioned, and it would also make people incomprehensible. It's almost like this. Most of the tribes are in places with trees, but these places are very few, so we often have wars. Luza thought of some sad things our tribe died in such a war, and that's why I came here. You are very short of water over there, right? What if we take our water over there and change it? Do you think we can get the resources we want? Sudbai asked. Sometimes you can't find something in the virgin forest, such as various ores. There are more ores in the desert, or there are some. What about other foods or fruits and vegetables? It's definitely possible. The demand for water there is very big. If Wu Na goes there to exchange water, everyone will definitely be vying for it. Luza said without hesitation. In this case, if you were asked to lead the way, would you know how to go back? Sudbai asked. He was thinking that he could not spend all his time on this continent, because all the available resources in the surrounding areas have been used up. Now he just has to wait for the surrounding resources to slowly pick up. Now he is in a state of in the development stage. Even if you want to move faster, there is nothing you can do. So he wants to set his sights on another continent. This is also to make the Yanlong tribe urbanize faster. I definitely won't remember much when I walk back, but if I fly in a hot air balloon, maybe I can still remember it, Luza said. Although the girl's expression looked calm, she was already very, very excited inside. If she hadn't been in front of the witch now, she would have jumped up with excitement. Now she still needs to restrain her image. Recently I have been thinking about some new means of transportation, maybe not using a hot air balloon. After all, this thing cannot guarantee your 100% safety, Sudbai explained. Yes, this is an idea he has been thinking about recently. Hot air balloons alone are definitely not enough. He originally wanted to directly create airships or airplanes like other novels. But he was helpless in his mind. There are ideas in it, but there are not enough materials, so there is no way to complete the ideas in his mind. In fact, the main material of the airship is the steam engine, which the Yanlong tribe already has, but another material is also very important, that is the exterior material of the airship. If you simply use iron ore to refine the iron, and then use the iron to make the outer iron sheet, the entire airship will be very heavy. Let alone whether it can fly up, the entire airship, the safety cannot be guaranteed. Therefore, a brand new material must be developed, which must be very thin and durable. No problem at all. Whenever the wizard needs me, I will be ready. Luza said happily. Although there was a smile on her face, her body still stood very straight, without any intention of overstepping the rules. You go back first and I'll call you when I'm ready. Sudbai waved his hand. He thought it was time to prepare a new means of transportation. This would definitely surprise the people of the tribe. Please update for support and customization. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 1013. Yi and I appeared in the forest again with a group of totem warriors, which can be said to be quite risky. For no other reason, choosing to enter the forest during the rainy season is undoubtedly an act of seeking death. Even though they are all totem warriors, the forest in the rainy season is very dangerous. Even totem warriors are very dangerous. They must keep their hearts tight at all times. Why do we have to come out during the rainy season and have a good rest in the tribe? Ci was a little puzzled. They had gone back and forth to the Yanlong tribe too many times. It felt like they had been going back and forth for a whole year. You don't understand. Everyone must be waiting for the end of the rainy season to go to the Yanlong tribe to discuss cooperation. By then we will definitely have no advantage. Uni looked around very vigilantly, so we must seize this time, because everyone will not go out during the rainy season, so we have to be the first one. If we take such a risk and they don't choose us, then wouldn't it be that our trip was in vain? I did not dare to relax at all. So we don't need to take risks for uncertain things. Have you forgotten that you just escaped from danger? The girl thought of the days when Tiger-eared Girl was imprisoned by the Yanlong tribe. Now she has both arms and legs, which is very good. If the Yanlong tribe wanted to remove an arm or a leg from Uni, the Daihu tribe would never say anything. Because this was their violation first, but Tiger-eared Lady is safe now, which clearly illustrates one point. You just worry too much. The environment we live in now cannot allow us to be comfortable, and we must work hard. Uni is full of energy. The Tiger-eared Girl is most likely stimulated by the environment of the Yanlong tribe, and is full of fighting spirit. She will never tolerate the fact that the Daihu tribe is not as good as other people's medium-sized tribes. You must know that this medium-sized tribe is still a recent one. In the past, it was still a small tribe. Not only that, it was also severely damaged by the Black Snake tribe. You can imagine how strong it is, and it can develop like this in a short period of time. I said that she is not envious, they are all fake. I must have dreamed of making the tribe better. Why are you doing these things all of a sudden? You didn't seem to worry about these things before, I said doubtfully. The girl felt that the changes in the other party were too obvious. It seemed that they all changed after going to the Yanlong tribe. You've been to the Yanlong tribe so many times and you still don't understand? We simply lost too much. Uni didn't care about the rain hitting her face. She was as excited as a leader now, wishing that the whole tribe would move. They are really good, but we can't compare with them. I shrugged his shoulders. What's more, we are determined to work hard, but we don't know how their tribe developed, so don't work in vain. So this is also the reason why we want to go to their tribe. We will know after we go a few times. Uni shook her hair that was wet by the rain. Maybe if we cooperate a few more times, they will tell us the secret. This is all uncertain, right? Tiger-eared Lady is still very optimistic and always thinks of the good side of everything. What you are thinking is really wonderful. This is the secret of their tribe. How could you tell us so easily? I was also helpless. She wondered why she didn't realize that the other party was like this before. Why does he seem so motivated now? People always have ideals and cannot give up easily, but I dare say that our tribe is definitely the first. Uni looked confident. Other tribes would never think of it. Even if they thought of it, they would not dare to come out during the rainy season. The tiger-eared lady looked like she was sure of victory, as if she had met the next victory of the Earth Tiger tribe. My good sister, please don't have such high hopes yet. Let's wait until we arrive safely at the Yanlong tribe. I scanned the surrounding environment vigilantly, fearing that a big ferocious beast would suddenly jump out. Totem warriors do not have an advantage in the rain, but those ferocious beasts are the most dominant. The reason why they choose to come out in the rainy season means that you have this ability. If you are not a person who goes out for activities during the rainy season, going out at this time will undoubtedly lead to death. Don't worry, I have always been vigilant, and there is absolutely no chance that the vicious beast will take advantage of it. Uni looked confident. Tiger-eared lady just thinks that people should have confidence. With confidence, anything will not be too difficult. This is also the reason why she chose to go to the Yanlong tribe in the rainy season. She must not lose to in other tribes, it is her competitive character that distinguishes her. But I haven't asked yet, after we reach the Yanlong tribe, what conditions will we use to negotiate with them? I suddenly realized this. Because the girl discovered that they did not bring any food when they came out this time, let alone any slaves. You will know this when the time comes. I have already discussed it with my father, and the offer offered is definitely one that the Yanlong tribe cannot refuse. Yuni's expression was still very confident, as if nothing could trouble her. I feel like you've been acting weird lately, and then I feel like you're mysterious, so I won't care about you anymore, as long as I keep you safe. I sighed. Anyway, he doesn't understand anything now, so he simply doesn't care. Anyway, then you will know why I insist on it, because it must make sense. Yuni doesn't want to explain too much. Tiger-eared lady thinks that rather than saying too much, it's better to let the other party see the results directly, which will make it easier to understand. What's more, what she discussed with Tiger Beard is a secret of the tribe and cannot be it's easy to tell someone from another tribe. Even though Ci has completely joined the Daihu tribe, she was originally from another tribe. Or even from across the river, so she still has to worry about some things. How long will it take for us to arrive? Ci has no sense of time, so he doesn't know. It'll probably take a day or two to get there. It's very close anyway, so we just need to pay attention to the movements around us. Yuni immediately comforted her. They have been out for a while. If these days are included, it will be almost 15 days. It is more difficult to move forward during the rainy season and it will take longer than usual. That's good, at least it looks like there's still hope. Ci breathed a sigh of relief. Pitter-patter. The rainy season will not stop because of the difficulties of the soldiers. On the contrary, it may rain even more ruthlessly. Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 1014. The rain kept falling, as if there was a big hole in the sky. The people of the Yehu tribe are quite at ease because their tribe is located on a high hillside. It doesn't matter, no matter how high the rainwater accumulates in the forest, it will not affect the lives of the Yehu tribe people at all. Yetu is leading the totem warriors to patrol around the tribe. Even if it is the rainy season, it will not fall. He was originally the leader who took soldiers to various tribes to exchange things, but because of the rainy season, he temporarily acted as the patrol leader. Even though they were on a high slope, dangers were everywhere. Although the danger of being drowned was ruled out, there was still the danger of ferocious beasts. No, the ferocious beasts in the stagnant water want to land again and again, for no other reason than they are looking for food. Almost all the edible food in the water has been eaten, and most of the rest are inedible, or are more ferocious than them. Yetu's daily job is to drive away these ferocious beasts, which is also their main source of food during the rainy season. Yes, the large amount of food prepared before the rainy season alone is not enough to feed the entire tribe. You must know that the Yehu tribe is a large tribe, with tens of thousands of people in the tribe. There are only a few hundred soldiers. Even if they work day and night, the food returned from hunting cannot feed so many people. There are still many people who can only eat one meal a day, or one meal every 2 or 3 days, just to avoid starving to death. But the rainy season gives them a chance to breathe, and the ferocious beasts in the stagnant water can completely solve this problem. No matter how unpalatable the meat is, at least it can satisfy your hunger. When you are hungry, the taste of food is not that important. Even if it's a ferocious beast that's been dead for a long time, those hungry guys won't mind. It's such a boring life, it's like this every day, and the food doesn't taste good. Yetu couldn't help but complain, feeling that it was really not fun. Big boss, I really want the rainy season to end soon so that we can go to the spotted deer tribe. Huang Ji also looked yearning for it. He is Yetu's follower and a strong warrior. He is about to break through the junior level and become an intermediate warrior. It's just been a year or two, but he still hasn't broken through. Originally, the tribe they wanted to focus on cultivating him. Unfortunately, they could not wait for his shining moment, and the tribe slowly lost patience. From the moment they gave up, they did not allocate too many resources to him, nor did they give him special benefits. The treatment is the same as that of other ordinary warriors. He had no chance to break through in the first place, but without the blessing of good resources, he has even less chance to break through, and it has always been like this. Who doesn't want to? This kind of life is too boring. It's best to leave the tribe and go out for adventure, Yetu said helplessly. To be honest, every night when he went to bed recently, he dreamed of leaving the tribe and going outside. Did he say he didn't like the tribe? No, he liked the big tribe Yehu tribe very much. That's all. That's all, he just likes the tribe's bigness, which other tribes don't have. As for the life he wants, the Yehu tribe can't give him. Compared to staying inside the tribe, Yehu wants to go outside and see. Look. How about we go out during the rainy season? There are so many warriors in the tribe. Anyway, a lot of them can come to patrol, so we are not missing out. Huang Ji immediately encouraged, and the smile on his face showed that this was not the first day he had thought this way. The reason why Yetu was loved by so many warriors and could lead a team of 12 people to exchange things with other tribes was undoubtedly his fault. The thoughts are the same as those of the soldiers. Everyone is also the kind of bohemian person. Leaving the tribe during the rainy season, Yetu wondered if his ears heard it wrong. Yes, big boss, you see, we go out to change things in advance, and we come back when the rainy season is over. Doesn't this save a lot of time? Huang Ji immediately explained. Every time the warriors wait for the end of the rainy season before leaving the tribe, it takes about 10 days to bring back the changed things. Are you crazy? When did you come up with this idea? Yetu couldn't believe it after hearing this. I'm really serious. Anyway, we don't have much to do in the tribe, and our things don't have to be done by us. Most of them are replaced by others. Huang Ji didn't want to restrain himself at all anyway. We have been out so many times and are already very familiar with the forest. We can still ensure our own safety. So what do you want to do? Yetu asked. Anyway, there are ferocious beasts in the stagnant water. As long as we don't drip in the water, we will be fine. We can walk between the trees. Huang Ji looked around. We don't want so many people going out this time. Anyway, the rainy season will be over in more than 10 days. We can spend the next days in other tribes. He didn't pause when he said this, and his thoughts were very clear. It can be imagined that he has really thought about this matter for a long time, otherwise it would be absolutely impossible to have such clear thoughts. It's not that you can't think about it, but you have to know that all tribal fairs are unlikely to be open during the rainy season. Yetu suddenly thought of this. It is not difficult at all to leave the Yehu tribe. The key point is whether there is anything to exchange for after going to other tribes. We will definitely not go to the tribes we have been to before. The big boss must have heard of the Yanlong tribe, right? Huang Ji asked with a smile on his face. Yes, he had inquired about this tribe before and was very interested in it. Of course I have heard of it. I heard that this tribe is very good and has everything in it. Yetu answered without hesitation. He had just discussed this matter with the chief last time, but he didn't think about going to see it. After all, it was a new tribe, and he was not sure about all aspects. This kind of uncertainty, tribes that know the details don't dare to take risks. Yeah, so why don't we go here? Huang Ji strikes while the railway is hot. Do you have any details about this tribe? I want to know more about it. Yetu was obviously moved. However, he still told himself in his heart that he must know more about this tribe and never take risks. No one knows what the Yanlong tribe has, and no one has been to the Yehu tribe. Be cautious. One thing is always right. I also heard from other people that this tribe is new and they receive people during the rainy season. Huang Ji is not sure, this is just what he has heard. Yetu thought thoughtfully. Please update for support and customization.